demonstrate great email copy, I'm going to show you 3 very different examples. A light-hearted sales email from Rapanui, a soft sell email from Marie Forleo, and a hard sell email from Ramit from I Will Teach You to Be Rich. These are all available to download, so feel free to get them from the resources section and take your time reading them over properly. So the first thing is our number 1 copy rule is applied a little bit differently in emails. So far, we've been assuming that the reader knows nothing about who you are or what you do. But by the time they're on your mailing list, it's pretty safe to assume they do know this. So instead, we shift our attention to communicating what your product or service is and how it will benefit them. Rule number 2 and 3 stay the same. Give them a win-win opportunity and swallow your creative pride. So the first one is Rapanui, and the subject is absolute game changer. Change warm, surf more. Say goodbye to embarrassing towel drop moments on your spring surf missions with our rad surf towel. Equal parts weird and wonderful. The super soft and toasty warm toweling keeps the car park shivers away, and a handy pocket to keep your mitts cozy. Change the way you change and grab yours now from the Rapanui store. Number 1, did they assume I know nothing about the product? Yes. And it's pretty obvious straight away what the product is. It's a towel to change in after surfing. And they clearly communicated how it will benefit me. Number 2, did they give me a win-win? Not exactly a win-win, but there are plenty of wins. No more embarrassing towel drops, super soft, toasty warm, no more car park shivers, and warm hands. This is another great example of zoning in on their target audience. They're essentially saying, we see you surfers, we know your problems, we've had your problems, and now we fixed your problems. Rule number 3, did they swallow their creative pride? It was very simple and easy to understand, so I would say yeah, they succeeded. They also made me laugh when I first opened it, and that's pretty impressive for such simple copy. Next one is Marie Forleo, and the subject line is 2 little tricks to supercharge your new year. I'm not going to read it all out loud, but like I said, feel free to download it from the resources section or just pause the video and read it properly. Number 1, did she assume I know nothing about this product? Yes. This was an email targeted to her regular viewers of her show, so the aim here is to communicate what this particular episode is about rather than the entire show. It wasn't as immediately obvious as the last email, where it was just a quick laugh and it was blatantly obvious what it was. This time the email is more about opening up and maintaining a relationship with her readers. So there's a fair bit of small talk before she gets around to the product. And once she gets to it, it's very clear that it's about balancing gratitude and ambition. She's also highlighted all the different ways it could benefit me in the bullet points. So if I watch this episode, I could learn how to feel both gratitude and ambition, the mystery number 1 safest bet you can make, why it's crucial to have a meaningful project at all times, and a method to stop worrying about money. Number 2, did she give me a win-win? Kind of. She's bullet pointed all of the wins, and then underneath them there's a little motivational speech. Never forget the safest bet you can make is on yourself. Bet on your endlessly abundant ability to learn and grow and contribute your special gifts, because the world really does need them, Lottie. By doing this, she's removed the risk. She already knows that most people reading her emails think, that's nice, but I'm not good enough. This is her way of jumping in and saying you are good enough, so what are you waiting for? And rule number 3, did she swallow her creative pride? Yeah, I think so. It follows a pretty simple format. Small talk, benefits, motivation. There's nothing groundbreaking or too out there. Our last email is from Ramit, and this one made me laugh before I even opened it, because the subject line is literally the 0 to launch hard sell. You receive this email when you've been on his mailing list for a while, you've received several emails explaining all about the course, all of the different features, but at this point you haven't bought it. So it's safe for him to assume that I already know all about it. But did he communicate how the product is going to benefit me? Yes. Over and over. It's a pretty heavy pitch. It starts with a motivational speech similar to Marie's, talking about all the time wasted when he was just thinking about starting a business but not actually doing it, his own story about starting out with no clue what he was doing. He then goes into the win-wins and eliminates the main excuses not to take the course. I don't have an idea, or I have too many ideas. His answer to this is using his system for generating ideas and testing them for profitability. With the risk removed, he then goes into the wins. Generating income when you're not at your computer, get twice the income for twice the work, customers who will want to hear from you, and live the life you deserve. To be honest, this is more than enough for a hard sell. But this is Ramit, and he doesn't do things by halves. So then he goes back to the excuses and dives deep into why they aren't valid. So his first one is I don't have an idea. He's already answered this with his idea generating system, so he doesn't mention that again. Instead, he finds new holes in the argument. We're all good at something, you actively find ideas, you don't just get them magically. The last paragraph really made me laugh. It's very on brand and in keeping with his voice. I cannot be any clearer. Your brain will try to persuade you that there is no idea for you to start an online business with. Listen closely. I'm New York Times best-selling author Ramit Sethi, founder of multi-million-dollar businesses like IWT and Growth Lab, with over 30,000 students paying for in nearly every country, owner of Mythical Eyebrows, telling you this. You can find a business idea and go from idea to first profit to successful online business. Excuse number 2, it's not the right time. He combats this with there's never a perfect time for anything, we all have doubts, and this is actually one of the best times to start an online business, and you only need 5 hours. Excuse number 3, I'm not sure this is right for me. For this, he shows previous student reviews, videos of student stories, a couple of course features like it's downloadable and transcribed, and there's a money back guarantee. For me, this is a clear win-win. If you don't love the course, you can still get all the information on how to start a business and all of your money back. And then there's a little home truth. Decide if you want this. If you don't, that's cool. If you do, then do something about it. This then leads on to another motivational speech, which is essentially saying, stop waiting and be decisive. Then he dives even deeper into the student reviews he's mentioned earlier. He lists all the type: men, women, international students, busy mothers, people with no experience. He offers 2 live meetups with previous students that you can watch, and some new proof with screenshots of their income, subscribers, and location. Then a final motivational speech. It's time to decide. And this one really taps into people's psyche. I'll read a bit of it out. A year from now, you are going to be another year older, Rob. 5 years from now, you could look back at this as the most significant decision you ever made. Or it might just be another ho-hum day. This is some really intense selling. You're going to die one day, Rob, so are you going to make the most of your life or not? That's pretty intense. Rule number 3. Did he swallow his creative pride? Yeah, I think so. It was a pretty dense format, but when you break it down, there was nothing too crazy. It had all of the sales cliches that work. Right down to the you're gonna die mental manipulation. And just a quick warning, that is a really polarizing tactic. If you want to try it, approach it with caution. I think the reason that Ramit could get away with this is because his brand is so pro hard sell, and the email was literally titled The Zero to Launch Hard Sell. So readers already knew what they were getting in for. The only thing that I would say is a little bit out of the norm with this email is the subject line explaining exactly what the email is. There's no mystery and no intrigue. It made me laugh because it was so on brand, and if you follow Ramit, you'll know what I mean. But if I received a similar email from a brand that I don't really care about, like Costa Iced Tea hard sell, it would be deleted immediately, and I'd probably be a bit annoyed as well. Like, who do you think you are, Costa? Who even cares about your iced tea? You have to already have a bit of a relationship with your readers before you can try things like that.